Vijayakarya Ashtotrata Shishma Divine Grace of Vaichanardan Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vijayakarya Ashtotrata Shishmat Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavandi ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. Okay, welcome to the Bhagavatam class this morning. You're going to get stuck with me for 1 hour, so just tolerate. This will help you improve your quality of patience and tolerance. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so today is 7th of May, a Wednesday of 2025. I like to repeat the date because just in case people in future listen to this, they know how old I am. No, just joking. I'm getting old. Okay, so 4th canto, 28th chapter, verse number 16 is what we're going to do. Varam chamat kanchanamana vendra. Varam chamat kanchanamana vendra. Vrunishvateham gunashila yantrita. Naham akhairvai sulabhastapobhir. Yoge navayat samachittavarti. Varam chamat kanchanamana vendra. Vrunishvateham gunashila yantra. Yantrita, sorry. Naham akhairvai sulabhatapobhir. Yoge navayat samachittavarti. Take it away. Varam chamat kanchanamana vendra. Shanamana Vendra Brunishvateha Gunashila Yantrita Naham Akhairvai Sulabha Yoge Navayat Samachittavati. Ladies, Varam chamat kanchanamana vendra. Brunishvateham gunashila yantrita. नाहं मखैर्वै सुलभस्तपोभिः योगेन वायत् समचित्तवर्ती वरं च मत्कञ्चन मानवेन्द्र ब्रूनीष्वतेऽहं गुणशीलयन्त्रिता नाहं मखैर्वै सुलभस्तपोभिर् योगेन वायत् समचित्तवर्ती varam. Benediction. Varam comes into English in words like warriors, the chosen people. So varam is a choice. So yeah, the word warrior, the war in there comes from varam. Cha also. Mat from me. Kanchana, whatever you like, whatever you like. Manavendra, O chief of human beings. Indra comes into West, Alexander, Inder. So because he considered himself the son of God, gods. Not like Vishnu, but the son of gods from the heavens. Vrinishva, please request. Te, your, aham, I, gunashila, by elevated qualities and excellent behavior. Yantrita, being captivated. Na, not. Aham, I. Makher, by sacrifice. Makher is interesting. I know I give you my linguistics, but the English word Michael, it actually comes from the word Makha. Did you know that? Because Makha is Yagna, and the lord of Yagna was supposed to be from Rigveda perspective, Indra. Because first he gets 75% of the Vedas, the Rig Veda, 75% of it is glorification of Indra. There's only a little bit Vishnu actually. Until they talk about, God, anyway, rusty today, I'll get it. So, Makha and El in the Middle East, in the Jewish language, El is God. So Makha El, the god of the sacrifices, Indra. So Makhel, by the time it transfers to Europe and English, it becomes Michael. That's interesting, isn't it? So Michael, you might hear it when next time when you say, hey Michael, you're saying, hey Indra. Makhail, yeah. Makhail, yes. So it's supposed to be Makhail. Il comes from Makha, El. So El is God. Everybody knows in Jewish language, in Hebrew, L-E-L is for God. So Makha El, the god of the sacrifices. Interesting. So, anyway, I don't want to bore you with my linguistics, but we'll keep moving. Why? Certainly. Sulabha, easily obtained. Tapobhir, by austerities. Yogena, by practice of mystic yoga. Va, or yat, because of which samachitta, in one who is equipoised. Varti, being situated. Anyway, even samachitta and varti comes into English, but enough of my linguistics for today. Let's call and response. My dear king, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus am very favorably inclined towards you. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifices, severe austerities, or mystic yoga. But I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. So this is good. I'll read the purport. First I want to just give a context of this translation, and then we'll read the purport. Is it okay? Okay, so what's happening here? Little bit of background. Prithu Maharaj had commenced a sacrifice called Ashwamedha sacrifice. It was very popular. Ashwa is literally horse. Medha is meat. So what do Krishna conscious people have to do with meat? Anyway. So Ashwamedha Yagna. So this was supposed to be his 100th Ashwamedha Yagna. But Indra came and threw a little glitch. And there was going to be a little battle, but Brahma ji comes and give a little Bhagavatam class to Prithu Maharaj. And then not just that, now Krishna himself comes and gives a little Bhagavatam class to Prithu Maharaj. In the earlier verses, I don't want to bore you but by reading all the earlier verses, but in the last 10 verses, Krishna practically just did a little mini Bhagavatam crash course. And Brahmaji already had done a crash course of Bhagavatam in the previous chapter. Now you might say, what is going on here? Prithu Maharaj, the one who caused the trouble is Indra, right? Why is Prithu Maharaj getting Bhagavatam classes? Not one, two. Why? If Indra has done the mischief, why is Prithu Maharaj getting the classes? What's going on here? Right? So we have to think about all this. Have you ever thought about this? We have to think about all these things. If Indra did the mischief, why is Prithu Maharaj getting the Bhagavatam classes? Heavy. By Brahmaji. Not just some, Kanyakumari temple or something. It's like Brahmaji giving a Bhagavatam class. And then that's not enough. Vishnu himself comes and gives a little Bhagavatam class. You think what's going on here, right? What happens is, I actually tell this story to my daughter all the time. But anyway, you're all my brothers and sisters and mothers. So you're like my family members anyway, so I can share the story. One time what happened was, this was years, maybe decade or maybe more than a decade ago. I remember I was in between like maybe 500 people. And I said something and my Guru Maharaj didn't like it, or Guru Maharaj thought maybe I should go into little depth, and he just absolutely just gave me the sauce. I mean, we all know what the sauce is. There must be something that he's conveying. And in the evening, he invited us. I just had my daughter was just born or something. He just gave her a name. Something happened. Anyway, he invited back into his room in the evening. And then we were just cracking and joking. And he's asking my wife, tell me how you met him. How did he draw you into this relationship? He's a cheeky boy. I know he must have done something. And then he's laughing, and some of the devotees for personal darshan who were in the queue, when I came out, they were asking me, what? In the morning, he gave you the worst sauce I've seen in my life. And in the evening, you're joking, and we could hear from upstairs like all the laughs and, the pomp and the laugh. And finally came the instruction. After all the laugh and the joking and everything, finally he gave me an instruction. Fortunately, which happened to become a mission of my life, which turned out to be a mission of my life. It was like, this is what I was born for. So, why did I give you this little story? When great people, of course, Gurudev is a representation of Krishna, just in case someone is new here. If you don't understand the point, we can talk about this at breakfast. So, Guru is a representation of Krishna, and is almost on that Sakshadharitvena Samasta Shastra. So, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasad. Okay, I don't need to give you all that. So, why am I doing all this? I'm saying when great people chastise you, when great people give you the sauce, don't feel bad. The best thing to do, there's a devotee who's having some troubles across the country, and he's really, really down, and he called me and he was talking to me about how to get out of the situation. I said to him, look, the point is, if you somehow show to Krishna what you have learnt from the situation, rather than feel, why am I in this? Why am I in this? Why is this trouble here? Why is this trouble here? But if we show to Krishna, what am I supposed to learn? What should I learn from this? And what did I learn from this? You will be amazed. The grace that comes onto you. And externally this grace comes onto you, and then internally your heart expands. And then it becomes like a portal. The magnetic attraction, like boom, boom, boom. So we have to let that grace open to us in the form of sauce, in the form of difficult lessons, in the form of, even Prithu Maharaj receiving Bhagavatam classes from Brahma and Vishnu when he hasn't done anything wrong, seemingly, right? So we need to understand all these things. There is a mercy, and what is this sloka saying? Krishna is saying, okay, Varam Chamat Kanchana Manavendra, ask me some Vrunita, ask me some benediction, because you've been so humble. You were a great king. You took up a good mission of 100 Ashwamedha sacrifices. But by the arrangement of providence, Indra had to stop it. There is a reason why he has to stop it. We need to remember, Indra is the father of Arjuna. So, we need to be careful. I hear sometimes around, like, of course, Prabhupada on his level, he can say it. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on his level, he can say it. Sridhar Swami on his level, he can say it. But we, at our level, we need to be very careful joking about Indra around. Okay? He is the father of Arjuna. Okay? That speaks volumes. So we need to be a little careful. So I definitely think there was a little play of Vishnu. If Brahmaji and Vishnu are coming and backing up Indra, there must have been a little play why they had to stop this sacrifice. Maybe they're stopping a lot of, violence, killing, animal slaughters in the name of Vedas. We don't know. Yeah? There is a saying in India. It's in Hindi. I don't know if you people will understand. But anyway, I'll give it a shot. You want to? Is it okay? Hindi, but I'll give it a shot. They say, Khuda ki batein Khuda hi jane. Have you heard it? They say, Khuda ki batein Khuda hi jane. What that means is how Krishna will play, it's up to him. What we say is, yes sir. Yes sir. So why he does things in this way, we don't know. So we need to be careful joking about Indra. The point is we're getting a very good Bhagavatam lesson from Krishna here. And finally, the best thing is, when you come to the Bhagavatam class, every story in Bhagavatam, invariably, at the end, what do you see? Every single story in Bhagavatam, invariably, I promise and guarantee you, what you will see at the end of that story, it's called Phalashruti. By listening to this story, you will become great among men. You will acquire everything that is needed to be acquired. You will be happy in this world and in the next life. You know, people who don't have children will have children. People who don't have money will become rich. People who are people who are ignorant will become wise. You understand? So this is called Phalashruti. So every single Bhagavatam class you hear, at the end there is a Phalashruti, which is a benediction. So after giving a very nice Bhagavatam class, Vishnu is saying, here, take a benediction from me. Ask me something. That's what great people do. Even when you meet even rich people now, like Princess of Sikkim or Bhutan or even Modi, at the end he'll say, I've seen so many of his little chats. And then he'll say, please, when you come to New Delhi, give me a call. We should meet and we should catch up. And I want to do something for you. It's normal. That's the etiquette of great people. So he's saying, take a benediction. But the interesting thing, Prithu Maharaj, it is said that he was above the ground level. He was not touching the ground. He was above the ground level. Have you ever thought about this? Why is above the ground level? It's interesting, isn't it? So there are so many commentaries by so many acharyas that say, okay, at the end of the day, when Vishnu comes, he's coming on an official tour, and when he has to come from this like different loka and he has to come to the earth, he's trying to adjust to this. He's not used to our, our conditions. He's used to Braja. He's used to Goloka. He's used to dynamic, conscious world. And all of a sudden, with our funny activities, he has to come here and all of a sudden he's, it's a little different from Golaka Vrindavan here, So some of the Vaishnava Acharyas give a commentary like that. And I've also related with Einstein's relativity theory. Okay, I'll go slow on that. What does Einstein's relativity theory has to do with Krishna floating on the air? Yeah? So, you want to know? Anybody interested with science? You want to know? Okay. You can pass your credit card details to my assistant later. Okay, just joking. Just joking, I'm a volunteer. So, Einstein's relativity theory, there are two. One is specific relativity and one is general relativity. Yeah? If you are not acquainted with this, it's okay. Okay? No problem. I can explain. So Einstein in 1905, I think, introduced what's called general relativity theory. Specific relativity theory, which is very, very, very popularly known as E is equal to. Ooh, we have a winner here. We have winners here. So what is E is equal to mc square saying? Very good. Very good. You started well, but I'll help you out. Very well done. So what is E? You must have some physics background. You do. Okay. So what is E is equal to mc square? Simply just saying energy and mass are interchangeable. That's all it is saying. Just simple, come to normal layman terms. Energy E is equal to mc square. All it's saying is that energy and mass are interchangeable. And what happens is when mass is like shot at the speed of the light, everything kind of shrinks at the speed of the light. And now why am I doing all this? Why am I relating all this to specific relativity? When Krishna is discussing with Rukmini in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he's having a little joke. Do you remember that chapter? Where he's saying, why should you marry me? I'm a beggar. Only beggars are worshipping me. Akinchanas worship Akinchana. I've got nothing. I actually ran away when these great mighty kings like Jarasandha, Shishupala, Chaitya, Dantavakra and all these great kings came, Shalva. I actually ran away, I'm nothing. And you should be looking for someone equivalent to your character, your beauty, your, aristocracy. Me, I'm a beggar. And guess what? It's not just I'm a beggar, I run from a war. And even people that follow me, Hare Krishnas, they become a bit like me too. So, why do you want to hang around me? Why don't you go and choose someone better than me? And then Rukmini goes, in a second. But before she faints, Krishna says something very interesting. He says, I am like the light that travels through the universe. I am like the light that travels through the universe, and I am self-satisfied, and I don't actually need you for my self-satisfaction, and the only reason I stole you away was because I wanted to crash the pride of these great kings. Otherwise, I don't actually have anything particularly that I have to gain from you. And she goes, boom. So, the point I'm drawing you towards, he says, I am the light that goes across the universe. So, E is equal to mc square. Do you know that C is the light? Yes? He is like the light. So when the light passes at 300,000 kilometers per hour, is it? Yes. Yes, 300,000 kilometers per hour. No, per second, sorry. Second, sorry. Okay, I got it wrong by 60 times. You can forgive me. So, 300,000 kilometers per second. And what happens at that speed? Space shrinks. Space is not space anymore. Time is not time anymore. Everything is deflecting. So, the same Einstein in 1915 came up with general relativity. The light thing I spoke about was specific relativity, and 1915 he speaks about general relativity. So what happens with general relativity when the light goes through the heavy gravity planets, points of heavy gravity, what happens to the light? It warps and bends. So there is so much Krishna consciousness in this. So when Krishna comes to this heavy gravity planet, for a while he's floating on the air. Yeah, he's the light. He says, I'm the time. And even the same thing even with general relativity. It says, even time changes according to the density of gravity. So he's saying, I'm the time, he's saying, I'm the light, and his density of, the time changing due to the density of gravity is explained in which Leela? Which Leela? the time changing according to the density of gravity is explained very clearly in one of the most famous Leelas, which Prabhupada finished just before passing away. Brahma Vimohana Leela. Brahma takes the boys up there, he comes back, and how much time has passed? He's only just gone and back. And when he comes back, a whole year has passed. So, when Krishna comes to the planet, he says, I'm like the light, and based on the gravitation, light has some deviation, and Krishna is floating for a little while. And then he has his potency, then he can manage everything. He's got Yoga Maya, then everything becomes fine. And you have Brahma, who has to come from a very low density planet to a high density. He goes back, he comes down, and when what happens? A whole year passes. There is so much Krishna consciousness in this relativity theory. The specific relativity and the general relativity. Have you ever thought about this, Mr. Physicist? You have to think about all this. You have to see Bhagavatam as the most transcendental science. Not just seeing, because it is. Just give me a chance. I'll show you this, not just general relative theory. I'll show you the Schrödinger principles. I'll show you the Gödel's theorem. I'll show you the Gödel's theorem. I'll show you the Schrödinger's principles. I'll show you the relativity theory. I'll show you the collapse of the wave function in the quantum physics. Everything is in Bhagavatam. Second chapter. When Sukha Maharshi is explaining the time, how does he explain time? He explains time in relation to the travel of the Paramanu. Do you remember that? So what happened was, one day I was speaking with my Gurudev, and he was at my home, and I was speaking to him, and I said, there has to be some devotee who has to, show the science in the Bhagavatam. And Guru Maharaj was eating, and he said, who has to do it? And Guru Maharaj said, why don't you do it? And I was like, whoa. Yeah, write a book. Write a book. Show that how science and Bhagavatam, show your special relativity and your general relativity in Bhagavatam. Show how the time is related to the movements of the atoms. Show how consciousness is primary. Show why the collapse of wave function, what does that have to do? Why is it unexplainable? What is the missing link? Show. Why are you saying, hope there was a devotee who can do it? Why can't, okay, you do it. And I said, okay. But Guru Maharaj, who will print it? Who will print my book? I am nobody. He said, I'll print it. I was like, oh. Anyway, that's where the journey of Atma Paradigm started, the book that I'm writing. I'm nearly halfway through. So I'm doing all these things, just trying to show the science in Bhagavatam, the psychology in Bhagavatam. It's very important to see that way. Otherwise, you're in the world of this applied science, where artificial intelligence seemingly is taking over you. You are clouded with technology. How are you going to maneuver in this world if you don't know the science behind, the Bhagavad science behind all this? And then you have to go and do books. You have to lead a devotee's life. And it looks like we are so alienated from the world, don't you? When you don't understand the relationship, and then you come to the temple, doesn't it make you feel a little alienated? Or is it just me? It looks like the world is there and we are some people, doing something in our temples. It looks like there's no bridge, isn't it? Is it just me, or do you feel that? But there is a bridge. There is a scientific bridge. There is a sociological bridge. There is a philosophical bridge. There is a theological bridge. And there is an atheistical bridge. Oh. Oh. Now you're saying, how is this? A theistical bridge? We're supposed to be doing theology here. Yeah. So there is all these bridges in the external world we can build. And life is much more expansive. And then you can relate to the world. That's why I always say, when you're in Russia, like, you know, when in Rome, what do they say? What's the, huh? Do like what Romans do. So when we are in Sydney, we have to be in the public, like Chittahari Prabhu. Always in the public. I'm seeing his photos, always in the public, in the community. I love it. That's what we're supposed to be doing, isn't it? And that's the reason you're doing it, isn't it? Because we have to be in the public. Then you know what the public wants, right? When you're in the public, when you're talking to public, when you're doing kirtan in public, and then later on someone talks to you, I'm sure you have someone who's doing books around you, and then someone is talking to the public, and you're in the public. And then you're doing much, you get much more, as much as you're teaching people, you're learning also. Am I right or right? This is one of the best things that has happened in your life. I can say it confidently. Will you agree? To be able to be in public and do kirtan. This is what you were born for. Am I right? Do you see? So what are you doing? It looks like you're building that sociological bridge between us, the monks, and there is a social world out there. So you're building this sociological bridge between us and them. That's what you're doing every Friday. Doesn't matter, rain, storm, summer, 44 degrees, 12 degrees, doesn't matter. You're out there. Isn't it? Yeah. So he's building this sociological bridge, and someone else will bridge a philosophical bridge, someone else will bridge a theological bridge, and someone else will bridge a scientific bridge. And what happens? And then this world becomes Krishna conscious. It's a little drop. We might go home and think, what did I do today? That was nothing. What's the big deal? Friday night I went out, chanted Hare Krishna, I'm good at music anyway. So you may feel humbly, what I have did. But every little drop counts. You think you put a little drop, but you started a spiritual renaissance. You started a spiritual revolution. You don't know that. Because you're humble. You think, what did I do? Nothing. Well, I learned music when I was a child anyway, so I can play some instrument. What's the big deal? You started a spiritual revolution. And you're walking in the path of Narada Muni. He has veena, you have accordion. Same thing. You understand what I'm trying to say? That's how all this comes together. The science, the general relativity, why Krishna is just a little above the ground when he's coming and speaking to Prithu Maharaj. What's got to do with special relativity, general relativity, the science. That's how everything comes together. It looks like a simple activity. Just goes on Friday night, bang, and then someone goes and does books, or someone goes and does a Jagannatha Rath Yatra or something. We're building bridges. And if we do it correctly, by compassion, not trying to, colonize them with, not like that, with compassion, understand them, speak with them. That's why I'm always when I set up stalls, I'm setting up stalls in festivals. You know why? Approximately every festival I go has an average of 10,000 attendants. 10,000 people come to those festivals, average. Some more, some less. I'm drawing an average. Next week I'm going to be, this Saturday I'm at Riverstone Festival. And you know what happens? Out of 10,000, at least 300 to 500 people will speak to me. Some may just say hello, some may go, we are out there in public. Then we understand. Then we give Krishna. Then Krishna doesn't become a local Indian hero. A local Hastinapur hero. No. Krishna is Krishna in Russia. Krishna is Krishna in Ukraine. Krishna is Krishna in Nepal. Krishna is Krishna in sun. Krishna is Krishna on moon. Krishna is Krishna in Andromeda galaxy. It's not like you go there and there is, I come to Andromeda. Oh, by the way, who's this God? Oh, he's a different God. He's not Krishna. Wait a minute. No. That's the reason they call him absolute truth. Absolute truth means it's true everywhere. He's Krishna in Ukraine, he's Krishna in Fiji, he's Krishna in Nepal, he's Krishna in Jupiter, he's Krishna in Andromeda galaxy. Once you develop this vision, then Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hrideshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. You understand? That's the point. So Krishna is, anyway, I better read the purpose. Oh God. 50, oh God. Time is flying. Oh my God. Okay, let's do this quickly. Okay, Lord Vishnu was very pleased with Maharaj Prithu's good character and behavior and offered him benediction. The Lord openly says that performing great sacrifices or undergoing the austerities of mystic yoga. Anyway, that is in Bhagavad Gita. Na veda yagna dhene dane natapopi yugre natapopi evam shakyaham narloke drashtum tadanyena kuru pravira. So Krishna says in 11th chapter to Arjuna, na veda yagna dhene dane natapopi yugre evam drashtum kuru pravira. So he says anyway, I'm a bit rusty today. But in a Vedaham na tapasya, na dane na chejaya. So, like you have seen, no other people can see. The people that do Vedas and sacrifices, no, they can't see. Why? Because priyosime. Because you're so dear to me. So he's already said that. Yeah. So we'll go to the next part of the purport where it's saying, when the spirit soul is contaminated by material modes of nature, one is considered good or bad with reference to qualities. When one is transcendental to all material qualities, all the good qualities come out. These qualities of a devotee are 26 in number. This is from Madhya Lila, chapter 22nd, verse number 78. Kripalu Akruta Druha Satya Sara Sama. Anyway, so this is in Madhya Lila, chapter 22, verse number 78. These are the 26 qualities that are being. So we'll just quickly go to the 26. Quick. I'll need like 26 classes to do the 26. But let's do a crash course. Yeah? Crash course? The first one, kind to everyone. Kind to everyone is doesn't mean that you extinguish yourself and become a martyr. No. Kind to everyone means you supporting them according to their psychological propensity. Don't shove Bhagavatam under their throat like what's a good word? With a sauce. Okay, let's put it that way. So, don't shove, we have to understand people's propensities. That's being kind. If there is a service you like, let's support you with that service you like. I don't have to transform you into something you're not. That's kindness. Not just Hare Krishnas, even ruling in a country, it can be done. That's the role of a king, to set up a system where everybody flourishes. A student who likes physics should flourish in physics. And amazingly, you can connect it back to Krishna consciousness. You can become a biologist and you can connect it to Krishna consciousness. I can show you. Give me a whiteboard. I can show you how you can be a biologist and connect to Krishna consciousness. How you can be a physicist and connect to Krishna consciousness. How you can be a businessman, connect to Krishna consciousness. MBA, connect back to Krishna consciousness. It's possible. So that's kindness. Helping others to grow in their own propensity. Don't shove your rules under their throat. That's kindness. Okay, that was only one. Does not quarrel with anyone. Okay, we don't quarrel with anyone unless we have to. Oh no, joking. So no, we don't quarrel. We don't quarrel with anyone. But interestingly, Narada and Krishna, in my state where I come from in Telugu, I come from Hyderabad. Close to Hyderabad. Krishna and Narada have a nickname in my state, in my town I come from. They call Krishna and Narada Muni Kalaha Priya. You know that? You know why they call Kalaha is quarrel. Priya is someone who likes quarrel. The reason they call Krishna Kalaha Priya because they think he caused Kurukshetra. And the reason they call Narada Kalaha Priya is because everywhere he goes, he makes, he goes to Kamsa and he says, Krishna, why just one baby? Just, you never know who's the eighth child, right? Why don't you start right now? He's just creating all these troubles. So, but that is spiritual kalaha. You need to, unless you are confident that you are here for dharma journey, don't just go and quarrel with people. If possible, be tolerant. But where necessary, stand up and speak. Not for your personal benefit, but for the sake of Krishna consciousness. Yeah? We don't just quarrel. Yeah, you have to stand and fight when it's for Krishna consciousness. Yes? Makes sense? Okay, what else do we have here? Equal to everyone. That's simple. Equal to everyone is when you see consciousness as the underlying principle. You are a conscious entity and your role in Krishna's life is irreplaceable. Then what is my role? To make sure you are happy, so because when you are happy, Krishna is happy. So if I want to make Krishna happy, what do I do first? Serve you. I don't just rock up into the temple room and, hey, open the gates. I want to go and serve Krishna. Hey. No, the best way to serve Krishna is by serving you. Serving you. Serving you. Serving you. That's how we please Krishna. Yeah, that's simple. Faultless. That's just easy. Sincerity. Charitable. Wherever you go, yare dekho tare kaho. That's charitable. Yeah. I don't have another garland, so I can't give you that. Mild. Mild means just simple. If someone says, calm down and say you're wrong, you did this wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll try not to do that again. It was a slip of the tongue. It was a slip. I'm not usually like that, but it was a slip of a tongue. I'm sorry if that offended you. It's fine to back out. There's no problem. Yes? There's no need to be. That's mild. Clean. Clean doesn't just mean you have like 6 hours a day. Clean means clean in here. When Bhishma Dev gave, when Bhishma Dev was on the arrows, after 50 days, more than 50 days, Dharmaraj comes to speak, to get guidance from Bhishma Dev. He hadn't had a shower for 50 days. He had rejected all medicines. He hadn't even brushed his tooth. And he was bleeding everywhere. That's not clean in a mundane sense. But he spoke Vishnu Sahasranam, which became a national anthem of India not until long ago. Did you know that? Vishnu Sahasranam used to be the national anthem. The India now you see is the little all broken India, but when India was the greater India, we were all together. Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, we were all one India. And the national anthem was Vishnu Sahasranam. So this Bhishma spoke when he hadn't had a shower for 56 days. So clean doesn't just mean that you're having 6 times shower a day. Clean means clean here. Yeah? Keep going. Simple. Simple, actually, one time I wrote a devotee that you're such a simple devotee, and she got very offended. And I said, what happened? And she said, do you mean I'm dumb? Oh God. No. What I meant was, simple means that you're not artificial, you're not superficial. You are, what we see is what we get from you. There's no duplicity. That's what simple means. And finally I had to write a whole 2-page letter to explain what I meant by simple. And finally she said, okay, all right. So simple doesn't mean that dumb or anything. Simple means there's no dupliciousness. What you see is what you get. Okay, let's move along. Benevolent, you're always kind. Peaceful, we already covered that. We don't need to quarrel everywhere. Completely attached to Krishna. Completely attached to Krishna, we have to take baby steps. You cannot become Raghunath Das Goswami today. Just in case I have disappointed you. Maybe some of you are at that stage. But you cannot become Raghunath Das Goswami by 6 p.m. today. Okay? Don't put yourself like under such pressure. If you're thinking I'll become like, I'll understand my original position of which Manjari I am by 6 p.m. today. And I'll get a name like, some kind of, Manasa Manjari or something. No. Just hold your horses. So take baby steps. First understand that you're an Atma. These 2 realizations you start with. Number 1, that I am an Atma, I'm a conscious entity. Number 2, I am a fool. Number 1. It's not just saying. I am a fool and ignorant, number 1. These are the 2 basic realizations we have to start with. Is that okay? Let's move on. What was I? Meek. Meek and simple are the same. Steady. Steady means, troubles. You see troubles and benefits. You make sure when you're dukkeshu anudvigna manaha sukheshu vigataspriha vitaraga bhaya krodha sitadhi muniruchyate. Krishna says in 2.54 or 5.3. So you see troubles and equally. Sitoshna sukha dukkeshu. Sitoshna sukha dukkeshu. Have you ever thought about that verse? Sitoshna relates to the body. Sukha dukkha relates to internal happiness and troubles. So in both you are equipoised. Okay, we're running out of time. Let's keep moving. Has no material hankering. Well, what are we going to do with material things? That's just simple. Yeah. Consciousness is much better. Understanding your Atma is much better than $1 billion. I always tell this to people. When you come to this point that consciousness is primary, I am an Atma, you don't want to swap it with $1 billion. So we don't have anything to do with material wealth. Okay, respectful, sane and respectful. That's very good. Respectful doesn't mean that you always want respect. Respectful means you're respectful to others. Respectful doesn't mean that, hey, come on, respect me. Don't you see you? What a nice Bhagavat I am. No, respectful means I am respectful to you. Yeah? So those two are covers. Humble, oh my God. Where can I start? Humbleness and gratitude, you cannot miss that point. Because the more humble you are, the more your heart expands. And what happens when the heart expands? There's more room for Krishna to come. When you're not humble, and when your heart is tight, it's congested, how can Krishna sit in there? It's like tight. He comes and sits and he goes, hey, I can't move in here. It's too tight in here. But when you're humble, your heart expands. Krishna can sit on that seat. Yeah? Does it make sense? Okay, where are we? Humble. Grave, yes. Where necessary, you have to be serious. It's not just laughing and joking. No. You need to understand where to be serious and where to be joke. I always tell my children, I'm friendly doesn't mean I'm your friend. I am friendly. I tell to my daughters this all the time. I'm friendly doesn't mean I'm your friend. I'm friendly, not your friend. So where needed, mind your business. So that's another thing. Compassionate, friendly, I just said that. Poetic. Poetic doesn't mean that you write all these funny poems on the Facebook. Poetic means when you become that grave, you studied well. Whatever you speak is automatically poetic. When you studied well, when you're grounded in wisdom. My grandmother had never gone to school. But everything she spoke was a song. It's like everything rhymed one line after another. And I was thinking, that rhymes. She says something, that rhymes. She says something, that rhymes. Everything she said, but when you're grounded in wisdom, whatever you say just automatically is poetic. You don't have to go to UTS or University of Sydney and say, this in Hare Krishna temple they said I have to be one of the qualities of the devotee is poetic. Is there a course that I can take to become a poetic? No, that poetic is when you're grounded in wisdom, you say it just rhymes. It just boom. Beautiful. Yeah? Okay, we're coming close, don't worry. Expert, utility is the principle. You balance your life well, everything you have, your varnashrama, your man body, woman body, brahmana body, it doesn't matter. Whatever skill you have, you use that for Krishna consciousness. It is possible. Just need guidance and training. Yeah? So, okay, you must be relieved now. Last one. Silent. So silent is interesting. Krishna says in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Dandor damayatam asmi niti rasmi jigishitam maunam chaivasmi guhyanam jnanam jnanavatamaham. Maunam chaivasmi guhyanam. I am the silence in the confidential matters. Dandor damayatam asmi niti rasmi jigisitam. Where there is a requirement to punish, I punish. Niti rasmi jigitisham. I am the moral. Maunam chaivasmi guhyanam. I am the silence among the confidential matters. Gnanam gnanavatamaham. I am also the knowledge of the seekers. So silence doesn't mean, again, dumb or anything. Silence means we don't speak unnecessarily. When we open our mouth, there is a verse, last I'll finish with this. There's a verse in Bhagavatam, 11th canto or 12th canto. After speaking Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Maharshi makes a very interesting point. What is the point of a Bhagavat? What is the point of a Kavi? What is the point of a scholar who speaks and his speech doesn't feel like an arrow from the hunter that pierces your heart and churns your life and wisdom? I'll repeat it. What is the point of a Bhagavat that speaks, and what is the point of a hunter's arrow that doesn't pierce your heart and causes some revolution? What is the point of me sitting here? What is the point of a hunter's arrow? We speak and it hasn't churned your heart. Is that okay, or was it? You could have been doing something else. Yeah? Okay, I think that's it. The Lord is satisfied by development of these such transcendental qualities, not by artificial performance of mystic yoga and sacrifices. In other words, unless one is fully qualified to become a pure devotee of the Lord, one cannot expect to be liberated from the material entanglement. So I'll have to see all these kind of verses. I'll need much more than just 1 hour. But I'll just summarize. We spoke about how Indra, Prithu Maharaj gets a Bhagavatam class although he hasn't done any mistake. And I gave an example of when great people chastise you, don't take it as a, don't get saddened and despondent. There's always a lesson. And I compared it to Falashruti. Every time you finish a Leela in Bhagavatam, at the end there is these benefits that it's endowing. So don't be bitter about it. The second point I made about is Krishna, when he comes to earth, he hasn't landed on the land, so to speak. And I compared it to his general relativity and specific relativity, and how he says, I am the light in the Rukmini's Leela, the discussion with Rukmini's Leela. And what did I speak? I spoke about specific and general relativities, and I spoke about how we have to build bridges, these scientific bridges, these social bridges, these communal bridges. We have to be in the public. We have to be in the public, we have to understand them, we have to talk to them. We cannot be locked in this room like this. Yes? That's how we make Krishna consciousness. Little drops, and it becomes a big ocean. And I went through the 26 qualities quickly. And these kind of things need much more time, but we have to do it in an hour. Yeah, I started about 8:05 and it's 9:05. So I think that was a crash course. Any comments, questions? Yes. Very good. Of course. I completely understand you. I was in your shoes. I used to be in, I don't know if you heard my classes before. I used to be in a very hardcore banking system for nearly 20 years. So I started as an undergrad, and then I went all the way to the top floor, and I became a business improvement executive in the agricultural part of one of the biggest banks in Australia. And I always had this. But what happened was, when I started, I was like you, but by the time when I was finishing, I could turn all their comments into humor. So, but that takes some training and guidance and experience. So don't beat yourself up if you're not able to do that. For now, you have to protect your creeper. You have to protect your devotional creeper. You can't just go and mix with them and then do what? No, it's not going to be possible. I'm very happy you asked me that question. I'm serious. Very happy you asked me that question. If I had another guy, I don't have any Mahaprasad. Can you please share with her? Or you can pass to this, give it, just put it there so she can, leave it there so she can have it. So, that's there. That really good question. Because it can be confusing when you hear things like that from me. You have to take baby steps. Don't just, I'm not saying just, beyond your capacity you go and you contaminate yourself. No, don't do that. At this stage you are, protect your devotional creeper. But you will remember, you will progress, you will advance. When you come to that advanced level, you will be able to transform that into a humor. You will be able to transform that into a humor. So it is possible. When someone by the end of like my career, when someone said, oh, you're a vegetarian, you're a Hare Krishna, well, what is this? You're jumping around and I used to just transform it. I said, mate, you're going for you party just on Fridays, I'm partying all the time. You're just waiting for your Friday night, but get what? I'm partying on Wednesday morning here. Wednesday morning, beautiful kirtan. He says he's from physics background. Look at his kirtan. Classic. Yeah, let's put our hands together. That was a classic kirtan. Wasn't it? So, I used to say these things to my friends, my colleagues. You're waiting for your Friday night for party, right? I'm here Wednesday morning partying with a physicist. And they're like, boom. So you will advance. You will transform these narratives into humor. We have to, that's the reason I say, in the name of devotional service, don't lose your humor. Don't become so serious that you lost your humor. That is the greatest danger. You know why? Because Krishna is extremely hilarious. Sometimes I'll be sitting in the house and reading Bhagavatam myself and I'll be laughing like and my daughter and my wife are at the other corner of the house and saying, what's wrong with this guy? What? And I'm laughing. I just see some of his responses, like Balram's responses, when they have to give Rukmi a little punk haircut, skinhead haircut. I'm reading that. I'm laughing. My asana off. My seats are blowing off. I'm laughing the way he's talking. He turns around to Krishna and says, "Hey Krishna, you can't be so cruel to your friend." And then he turns to Rukmi and says, "Come on, he's a jerk, that guy anyway." And I'm like, that's classic. I'm laughing. So in the name of devotional service, don't become so serious that you lose your humor. That is the greatest tragedy. Don't lose your humor. Okay, I really want this to hit home. Can we all say this together? Lose humor. Yes? In the name of sadhana, in the name of focus. Yes, initially you have to be focused, but in the name of that, don't lose your humor. Then you will be able to convert their narratives back, give them back. And then you'll be fine. By the time I finished my career, every single person, right from the general manager, like I'm talking about executive general of my department, from him to the the office assistant, they all made sure there was vegetarian every time there was a team lunch.
But sir, one question, how to turn these type of people who are born with
That's what I was telling her.
always feel that I should at least change one person in my life to be a vegetarian.
You turn, you turn people, people will turn by watching you, not by your speech. You preach all day, but speak only when necessary. What does that mean?
If I am in connection with
Can I
everyone,
finish? I'll finish.
yeah,
I have been, I have done this. So please don't get into arguments with people. By watching your life, by watching your bliss, once they see you got the Krishna consciousness, once they see it sink in your heart, you don't have to speak anymore. I have seen this happen in my life. For 20, 25 years, I walked into the office and people would say, inside I'm feeling terrible. I've done some service and maybe I thought I was wrong and maybe I should have done better. And I'm going and kicking myself, punching myself, and I walk into the office and say, you're so blissful. I don't know, what do you mean I'm blissful? See, you don't have to get into arguments with people. Don't make that your life ambition to make people vegetarian. Your life ambition is you to become Krishna conscious. When you become Krishna conscious, vegetarianism, these are tools. The point is to become Krishna conscious. When you can put your hand in your heart and say, yes, yes, this is what I was born for, Krishna consciousness. You don't have to speak to them anymore. They will learn what you do. You understand? You don't get into arguments with people. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Vegetarian is not our religion. Krishna consciousness is our religion. Don't make vegetarianism your religion. Make Krishna consciousness your religion. Then you will see the change. Don't argue with people. If you are Krishna conscious, people will change just by watching you. So that's what you need to focus. Focus on yourself. Don't worry about others being Krishna conscious or not. Worry about yourself. You understand? Yes. So there's only one person you can change in this world.